Hey, welcome everybody to podcast number 35, presented by 5-Pin Universe. I'm your host, Karie Kreutz. We have the Wiseman twins here and Adam Weber. We did have a special guest lined up. Unfortunately, it fell through. He couldn't make it this week, so hopefully we'll get him in on podcast 105. I do think he said he was going to make it. So might be a while before you hear him. We'll keep you in suspense and we won't release his name. So we've decided that the four of us will get together and we'll go through questions from the audience and questions that we are asked kind of on the sidelines, maybe not through Facebook or by people we run into at these smaller tournaments and stuff like that. They ask us a few questions and we'll answer them. So our first question is from Chris Hislop. With the posts about the coaches' clinics coming up for the Autumn Open and TPC, why aren't more competitive bowlers coaching full-time in the YBC levels? Please include your own reasons for coaching or not coaching, both past and present. Adam?
Well, I definitely did coach right out of YBC. I gave it about 10 years or so, near the end of YBC and into the adult ranks. Then, quite honestly, life kind of got in the way. Ended up ditching masters for the first little while for that exact same reason. My stigma against the masters was, well, why aren't these players also coaching? They're supposed to leave the best players out there. Why aren't they coaching Wednesday or on the Saturday mornings for the YBC? Then I finally started realizing that the time commitments away from bowling and with kids and with school and with the job, absolutely everything on top of it, they couldn't dedicate enough time to go down there every week and basically only put half the time in with these kids that want them full time. And also most of those kids wanted them to go to provincials and nationals, and a lot of those bowlers just couldn't submit that much time to it.
Yeah, kind of a similar sort of thought process on that over here. I started coaching when I was like 16 and 17. When we were in seniors, we were coaching juniors and bantams, and I think I coached until I was like 22, 23, and then took some time off, and I've been coaching the last couple of years. It's just, it's a lot of time commitment when with everything else that we're already involved in. There's just so many hours in a day, and a lot of it is committed to bowling already in so many different areas already. But I have started coaching again Sunday nights with the seniors and the juniors, and I've really enjoyed doing it, absolutely. But it definitely took a lot of effort to actually push myself to get there, because when you're working in a bowling alley and you're there 50, 60 hours a week as it is, plus you added bowling, plus a couple of different boards, and then a podcast once a week, it's hard to push yourself to be in a bowling alley for extra time periods. But we moved our YBC back to Sunday nights just before our match play league that Tim and I are in. So that definitely makes it a little bit easier to get to. But it's been certainly really enjoyable. I really like working with those kids. And we're seeing a lot of them join a lot of the adult ranks. And I think part of that is because we could sit there, we could talk with them on a weekly basis about the positives of it and what they can get out of it. So it's nice that we're there to give them like constant feedback. But basically, just it's nice. It's nice to be back. It's just a lot to commit with everything else that we've committed to already.
So I guess it's my time to talk. Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of, like you said, time schedules busy. I'm a strong believer in whether I had a hard time with Adam or what Adam said, because I agree with him on that aspect, where I think master bowlers should be given back to some sort of degree, right? Because that's part of your community sport or your competitive coaching course, I think, but I don't. Over the years, I've come to realize that I think it doesn't matter where it comes from. Giving back to the sport, if you are a master or just in bowling in general or high level. Like for example, Karie doesn't really have a local center he can go and coach, but he can put his time into the 5-pin universe, or he put his time into the WCBT, and I still think that's still valuable for the most part. I personally, I've said it. The reason why I don't coach is, well, it's silly as it sounds. One, I mean, when I half the time I'm kidding, but I really do struggle with confidence in coaching. I just don't think I'm that good when it comes to that, and it stems back from when I was about 19. I had a really negative experience with one of the parents, and that parent kind of ripped me apart. And I was just filling in a spot. We didn't have enough coaches for 4 steps, and it really resonated to me that, you know what, I've done politics before in bowling, and I just didn't think maybe the coaching aspect was something I wanted to follow through on. Now that being said, I still help out with my YBC program immensely. I'm around the center a lot. I decided to give back in the form of maybe helping with YBC programming, an administrative level maybe, and helping out with the 5-pin association or whatnot. But that's why I guess I'm not really upset with a lot of my volunteers, because it's a volunteer sport, right? And I think that if you are going to give back to something, you shouldn't give a hard time to a volunteer who's putting their volunteer time in when you don't have to. And I guess I learned something positive from a negative, but I will never go back to coaching. I will never. Maybe I have my competitive sport, maybe to do the Open, because I think I can maybe do something with the Open. It's a little bit easier dealing with them, but I will never coach another youth thing unless a kid comes in on like a Thursday afternoon looking for some help. I'm willing to give them the bare bones of things, but I won't ever coach, probably because of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably expand a little bit on what you're saying, Tim. So I coached till I was 24 in my local center, but after that, the YBC program had folded due to a lot of reasons that we don't have to get into. And so for me to go coach, it's quite the drive to go coach a youth program, especially most of them are right after school, and I work till a certain hour, and for me to take time off work to go coach in a totally different community is just not cash savvy, I would guess. As a lot of parents probably know, cash is tight for a lot of people, so to ask a volunteer to take time off work to go coach their kids is pretty big ask. With that all being said, the hardest part about coaching youth is the parents. You have a lot of parents that think they know better, that don't treat volunteer coaching very well. You see it across every sport. It's not just bowling. I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here, but it is big in bowling. Parents tell their kids to do something that the coach isn't really, advising or something like that. It doesn't help the coach being involved with your child if the child's not going to listen. So obviously the coach probably could take different efforts to help, but if the parents aren't behind them, it's not going to work. And I feel for the coaches that are out there dealing with these children every week, trying to help out, donating their time, and maybe it may not be what the parent is looking for in coaching for their child, but you still got to remember it's a volunteer. And if you don't like it, maybe you can discuss it with that coach. You can do something like that, but not everybody's going to have time to just donate time to babysit a child out on the bowling lanes. And that's my viewpoint, and you can take how it is. I know lots of people feel differently, but that's just the experience I've had out there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you go play hockey, you go play soccer. I mean, they get out on the field. The kids really can't communicate with the athletes, especially in hockey. You have boards up, and there's not much you can really do. But bowling is a very intimate sort of sport where you could take 2 steps up and talk to your parents and give them a hug, or they could start giving you advice and whatnot. And there's there's no real separation, and that definitely creates quite the challenge.
Yeah, and for parents that do find themselves maybe in a YBC program where there isn't a lot of coaches, and you're there anyways, it's not too tough of a step to get your own coaching and learn the basics and help out, and maybe give those coaches that do have the experience to coach the higher end of the spectrum, and you can help out and direct the littler ones into getting into that higher spectrum of bowling. There's lots of things that the parents can do to help as well. I know there is a lot of coaching parents out there, don't get me wrong. I came from that exact family, went through my YBC. My mom was a coach, so I totally get that. Don't take it the wrong way, but we all got to take it in stride. Everybody's volunteers. If the master's program was very specific, a coach had to be involved in the YBC program in order to play masters, we wouldn't have a masters.
Yeah, and there's I always see those comments all the time. There's just way too many logistics with it that just don't allow for that. I mean, when we have, it's got to be close to 200 masters across Alberta. Very limited number of centers, less and less YBC kids every single year. Some of these masters are in remote locations where there isn't a center to coach at. To put those requirements onto those people is really difficult, especially when you still need to try to keep your own organization afloat. The membership alone is a huge part of being in those organizations and keeping those organizations afloat. So if you tell them they can't unless they coach, who knows how long that organization sticks around, right? So it's unfortunate. I'd love to see more people get involved, but again, if you're helping out in other ways, the biggest thing is we need ambassadors for the game and build the game in all avenues, and that doesn't mean just coaching. So thank you to everybody that does do something. That's really it all helps.
So please keep in mind, in Alberta, our masters, when you become a master bowler or master, we work with a community sport or competitive coaching, you have to, in order to bowl masters, you have to take one of the courses, which is community sport. Other provinces, you don't have to. Alberta is the only one that does. So
I think Ontario does too.
No, Ontario doesn't.
You sure?
Yeah, trust me. I think Mitch mentioned that to me. Oh. Sorry. But anyway, but I think, so some of you guys out there wondering what we're talking about, this is Alberta. This is a situation for us, at least. Where Chris Highslop would understand.
Highslop.
Chris, thank you for the question. Hopefully we answered it. We kind of gave you 4 different opinions on it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. And sorry, and Chris, we do love your every second week coaching. We understand work gets in the way, so that's why we enjoy you as a volunteer at Sherwood Bowl.
Nice self-promotion.
Time's precious.
Yeah.
I don't know, for when we did make the move up to Edmonton about 7-8 years ago, we did get Braxton into the Sherwood Bowl program, and was able to coach for a few years down there, and then got to a point where I don't think I was necessarily helping him as a coach. So then I wanted to be a parent, and I wanted to watch my son in that particular moment, and then interact with the coaches if they had a question in that factor too. But and I know there's a lot of parents that just they don't want to be the volunteer coach for that exact reason. They want to watch their child play, right, and not be 6 lanes over and having to not focus on the task at hand and really watch your kids. So. Unfortunately, the last couple of years with Braxton's soccer schedule, we haven't been able to even get him down into YBC, or I'm sure I'd be down there in some capacity.
Yeah. There's lots of juggling, and we know everybody has it, and so for that reason, those parents that are always wondering why those pro players or those competitive players aren't coaching, maybe they have stuff going on that you're not aware of, and they're trying to juggle stuff too. Maybe they do want to, they just don't have the opportunity. So always keep that in mind. Don't judge book by its cover, I guess you could say. So we'll just jump in. Some requests we've had from audience that we've ran into the last couple weeks. They wanted to know what our answers to the special guest questions would be. So we'll go around the horn on each question. We'll start with Adam with bowling mentor.
Have definitely had quite a few, more in the Calgary region than anything, but obviously always looked up to Bruce, Gino, Greg Gigliak, all that crew. But always had a couple really important mentors in the Calgary region. Rick Heinrich was my bantam junior coach. I still remember a lot of things that he taught us way back then. Joe Wood and Colin Keir and Dave Sanderson and Brian Rossetti. All these guys have been so instrumental in my game. As for like an idol though, it has to be Bruce. I've been chasing him since first real competitive ball that I've thrown. I've seen his name all around, especially the Autumn Open, and he'll be forever the guy that I'm chasing, I think.
For bowling mentor, I have to say Tom Stevenson for sure. Just super influential at the start of our bowling career. He coached us nationals in bantams. Coached us the first 2 years of our juniors, and then took us, or then moved to Calgary for our last year of juniors at YBC. But he was a phenomenal coach. He was hard on us. He was really, really hard on us. But it certainly opened our eyes to what was needed to be successful, even at a really, really young age. So I remember sitting down as bantams, and we'd have our practices for 4 steps. We'd have them 2 to 3 times a week, and then before every one of those, we'd have a meeting in our party room, and it was an hour meeting in the party room, just talking about like what we needed to do and what to expect and whatnot, and phenomenal. So, I mean, as we got through YBC and got into the adult ranks, we definitely added people like Lynn and, Gino. Both of those people were really influential in getting us into the Wednesday match league. And that really springboarded us into the adults. So I would probably say those 3 for sure.
So Dexter pretty much hit it right on the nose. For many of you guys didn't know, Tom Stevenson was our coach growing up. So before Stevenson moved down to Calgary, so Tom was really good. He was with us until 2000. But Tom was hard on us, but in a loving way. We have a really good relationship now. I know how, and he still texts us and calls us after every tournament, or he still keeps in touch with us that way. So we will forever have that bond. The other one that Dexter missed with Jim Bradshaw. Bradshaw was really big with us growing up. Jim, if you guys don't know who he was big in the Edmonton area, and Jim was like everybody's grandpa, right? You can say, but He was phenomenal, and he's passed away since. But yeah, we grew up with Lynn, and we met Lynn when we were like 13 or 14. It's different when Adam was talking about idols, right? And you have those people that you kind of look at and you kind of emulate. It's a little bit different for us, I think, because Tom, we met Bruce and Lynn and Gino and all those guys when we were bantams, and we're totally agreeing. We didn't know who they were, and growing up with them, we looked up to them, but it was a different thing because we already, I guess, when we were ready to compete, we already knew who they were.
We were comfortable with them.
Comfortable with them, right? So
it was a different sort of relationship.
Super fortunate in that aspect in life, and that's why I really try to push all the kids into these events and get them, because we were fortunate to do it. It's a good way of doing it. I know Matt got us into Schultz into the Wednesday night league when we were both 13, sparring at Sherwood Park before I moved to Bonnie Doon. And we're fortunate with Saskatoon Bowling School and everything else like that. But I don't know, like I guess maybe when I was getting better as I was growing up, like maybe 16, 17, I really probably looked. I don't want his head to balloon, but I mean, other than Bruce and Lynn and Gino, would be Mark Johnstone, because Johnny was really good at that point in the city, and he was a little bit our age, a little bit younger, and you can kind of idolize him like that. Of course, Matt was really good too. So those are, I guess, my answers.
Mine's probably going to differ quite a bit. Coming from a smaller community, we didn't have, I guess, those influences. Mine was kind of in stages. So my parents first got me into bowling. They were part of Friday night jackpot bowling and stuff like that. So we were always at the lanes when I was younger. I didn't start bowling till I think my last year of juniors it would have been. My mom got me into bowling and introduced me to Robert Gallagher. Obviously, I knew him before that, but he was a coach at the time as well. So my mom and Robert were coaches on that Monday after school YBC program. So that's how I got introduced into it. And I looked up to my mom. She was a 230 player back then, which was pretty decent in that small center. And then going through YBC, I kind of followed Mark Johnstone. He was a year or two ahead of me, I do believe. I think we're 2 years apart. So I looked up to him because he was the one going to nationals. He was the one making all the provincial stuff before I even knew what that was. And then when I got to the end of my senior level, I had a few experiences at provincials, obviously through Youth Challenge, and a couple instances through Four Steps. And then Gino was my next mentor. Took me into masters, and then kind of from there. Those, I guess, would be the mentors through my early bowling career. Obviously now it's got to be Adam Weber. There, here's your shout
out. Very doubtful.
Yeah, no, not at all. So favorite tournament, Adam?
Definitely a toss-up. I love the Autumn Open. I always loved the format. But there's something about the Open Nationals that I love getting there. I love competing in it. I've had lots of success there, which I'm sure kind of makes it my favorite there. But definitely those two events. Fortunate enough to take down the TPC a couple of years back, which was really special, kind of hometown at that point as well. But I love the Autumn. I can't wait for a couple of weeks here.
Similar sort of thing. TPC will always be my favorite, and not just because we host it now. My first win when I still think I'm the youngest TPC winner, if you don't count Rose Bowl.
Yeah, okay.
Well, TPC is a TPC. It's a different tournament. But anyways, I was 23? I think it was 23 when I won. So I've always really loved TPC, and I loved Collingwood. It was one of my favorite places to bowl. So TPC will always be my favorite for the cash side of it. But I agree with Adam. I absolutely love the Open, provincials and nationals. I love it all. Gotten to go to nationals, a few times in both the Open and Masters, but I just love the polls. I absolutely love having that in the game. I think it's unique. I think it's different. I think all the major sports have something like that. You see hockey, you switch shifts. You pinch run in baseball, stuff like I think it's neat. It's my favorite. People get so nervous with getting pulled. I'm never nervous about being pulled. If I'm crappy, get me out of there. I don't care. Big fan of the Open.
Well, I would say on the cash tour side or tournament side on that aspect, I absolutely love the Autumn Open, and I'll say that I just not because I won it. I've had really good success there. But I've always enjoyed the 40s. I don't know. There's something about you qualify, sure. But when you hit the 40s and playing the 16s, I just love I don't know. I just love making this just that feeling, right? Making the 16s, it feels like an accomplishment, and it's kind of sort of like when you make the 16s, you're kind of part of that club that year. You feel like you're an exclusive club, right? And close second is I absolutely love Heritage one. I just love the format there. I'm not one to have huge scores. I think I'm more consistent across the board, and I've struggled, I guess you can say, with the TPC format and the Regina Classic format, only because I can shoot 750s or 800s. Sometimes I get unlucky and I shoot 880 to lose to a 900, and it is what it is with that. With these other formats, I feel like I can compete across the board a little bit better that way. So that's why I like that. Honestly, I probably think that, nothing against Regina, I think they do a great job. Regina is probably my least favorite on tour. I enjoy TPC, minus the lack of sleep with everything going on that weekend. I guess sleep in my own bed that way. But probably Calgary and then Red Deer for sure. When it comes to the other events, I love open. Like Dexter said, I love the polls. I love that aspect. I love the nationals when it comes to that. I don't know. I just like it. Obviously, I can't really speak much of my master's experience because with team wise, I only had one team, right? And I just feel like, you know what, I maybe didn't contribute the way I should have to maybe get the full experience, or maybe somebody else on my team didn't help that. But anyways, but I like the open portion too, because you know I feel with the open, maybe especially the teams I've been on, you can flip flop anybody in that order, I find, and I think Masters it's pretty stagnant sometimes. I think watching it, I mean, I can't really speak on that, but most times or not, you sort of have your position as bowlers. What I've seen, I've watched a lot lately, so that's just me personally. So that's, I guess, my own answer there.
Yeah. For I guess WCBT or Cash Tour, mine is Regina, and main reason is because I won it. That was my first win. Other than that, because I'm an Alberta guy, all the Alberta guys go to Regina. They all hang out. Nobody goes home to sleep in their own bed. Nobody ditches out after qualifying shift. They all hang out at the rack and do stuff like that. So I find it as a more overall experience. Everybody's there to hang out, and I just like the atmosphere better that way. Don't get me wrong, I love all the tournaments, but for those reasons, Regina would be my favorite. And between Masters and Open, Masters is my favorite. I don't like, well, no, that's not true. I think the Open format is neat. The pull is cool. It gives you a different aspect to the game, but I don't like the idea of a safety net. I like you're stuck in the match, you grind it out. Doesn't matter how bad you are, figure your life out because you have to help the team. You just can't get yanked in the third frame and hope whoever comes in bails you out. So for that reason, I like the pressure. I like that aspect of it. And yeah, I think everybody has valid points of why they have favorites, and that's just my opinion on it.
No, and I respect you. I agree, completely agree with what you're saying there. I can see that portion of the Masters being that way. We talked about coaching how long ago in a podcast? I think open coaching is more important than master coaching, I think.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect there. And I think, honestly, and Karie, you've been on teams, I'm not going to say the name on the open bowler, but there's certain ones on your team that I think if you're the sixth bowler and they're not a team, it really affects the team more than I think in a 5-player game.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with zone size too, right? Like, let's be fair. Coming out of the Edmonton zone, like you said, anybody can play in any position. Well, you're a lot deeper across the whole board, right? Yeah. Coming from Central, yeah, we have a lot of good players, but our depth nearly isn't there. So if somebody has a good weekend to squeak into the qualifying, and then the team really rides at provincials, you can get the nationals with a player that may not be very comfortable with that atmosphere. And like you said, Tim, they may not be a good fit, but that's the good thing about the Open. Those people get those chances to go to nationals, where Masters, they may never get that option. Yeah. So there is definitely a good side to both, right? And that's why I do like the Open. It just, for me personal wise, the pressure and everything, it's just not the same as the Masters. But
No, I
I've
agree.
done my competitive sport for I did the course and I haven't completed it to be fully certified, but I'm telling you, like between the two, I am looking forward to the day I get an opportunity to coach the Open, because I sit there and I think the game nonstop. I love the whole concept of it. I love the team management. I love the strategies. I love all of it. It just feels like a giant chess game, and to me, it excites me to think about coaching that one day.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
sure.
I don't have to anytime soon.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely original, and yeah, like the pull makes it pretty cool. Just yeah.
Do you guys find you're comfortable in one of those nationals more than the other, or more relaxed on the team atmosphere or anything like that?
no,
I can't really say because like Karie knows my team experience. It wasn't necessarily.
He was not comfortable at Masters. I'll tell you that.
No, you know what, and that's completely probably fair, Karie. Like when we played Masters, it was a totally different experience. I mean, yeah, I played teams before nationals. But that being said, I think confidence level on a Masters, it's silly as it sounds, on a Master team, at least that one. I mean, hopefully I make another one I can give you a better experience and better maybe answer. But on that one, I didn't have the confidence maybe as I should, because in Edmonton, it's silly because we played for the Open this year. We had just how the team set up, for example, is that not saying that I'm one of the best in Edmonton, but they expect you to be around a lot more, right? Right. So I think, yeah. Anyways, but on our team, at Adam, me, Bradley, and Dex, and nothing against Michael or Curtis, but Lynn already gave us the confidence that we're going to be his horses because we have experience, right? So you're got a little bit more leeway and a little bit more play to work with it. With the Masters, yeah, you know what? I had way more leeway in play because I wasn't getting pulled, but maybe I needed to feel like a big shot on that team in order to play better. I think. I don't know. I really struggled that weekend.
Yeah.
So,
but you gotta look at it too. You're a rookie. I know you played nationals on teams before, but you're at a Masters national as a rookie. You needed to embrace that, and I don't think like you did at the special events or the rookie night and stuff like that. But on the lanes, I don't think you really did. I think you're worried about what everybody was thinking. You're a rookie. Go throw the ball. Everybody knows you can play. You're at a Masters. You don't need to prove anything. But that was your experience, and I hope you have a better one next time. And I hope I'm on that team because you owe me one. So.
I owe a lot, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost feel like Masters there's almost too much downtime, and I find that just the whole experience is just way more relaxed than the Open, and you go throw your 6-7 games or whatever in a day, and there's 6 games or whatever, and then all of a sudden now you got like 12 hours to go waste type thing. Whereas, the Open, I just find there's a little more busyness to it. There's a little more heat on you to stay in the match because there is that pull factor. I don't know. There's something about the Open that I love more than Masters, but I'm sure it's success, right?
Let me write Masters nationals and see if I can get them so you can play singles and team too, and then come back and talk to us, because there's the only reason why there was way more downtime is you played both.
Yeah, no, it's not my first Open Nationals, but like it's
no, I know, but the schedule is relatively similar for game.
You're talking to a Hall of Famer, Dexter.
But there's still like 2 extra games a day in the Open, or 1 extra game minimum a day for the Open, which is an extra hour and a half of heat, right?
There's a lot more teams too, right?
There's 11.
Yeah, way more teams.
How many games do we play at Nationals for C5?
21, I think.
21. Over one less day.
Okay, so that's what it is. There's one less
day. Right, because one less day, because we do a step ladder on the 4th day where you guys do 3 games instead, right? Adam, you know what the other thing is too, and maybe I could be wrong and I'm misstepping here, and this is just a generalized statement. Alberta, when we go, and Ontario probably feels the same way, is that we're lucky with all these funds, and we don't have to pay for our own way there, right? And I think that we're expected to come back with a medal, right? It's more of a job. It's more of a. It's sometimes not a vacation. I find sometimes, because if you go back and you come back with a fourth place finish, or you don't make the step ladder, right, or you don't medal at the Masters Nationals, you're going to be ridiculed at home, right? I really feel that way. I feel like when you're talking about the pressures on, there is that pressure.
You think at a Masters Nationals, there's more pressure to come home with a medal than there is at the Open National?
No, both. I'm saying just in general, and just a generalized statement. Alberta, like I feel like when Adam's talking about like, when he's saying that we have, it's more of a, I don't know. It just there's more pressure for I think other people have more enjoyment, I think, over bowling when they go to a nationals outside our province, I think. Right? And the only reason why I say that is there's more, I've thought about, is there's more provinces, for example, like PEI goes, and all those other people, but they go there and they enjoy themselves, right? They go there a couple days early, they make it a vacation, they're paying their own way. They're fortunate, that's their thing, right? And I think we're too geared for results.
I think that's
right.
That's a personal thought process more.
It is a personal thought process. Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
I don't know. I've enjoyed every national I've been to, and I wouldn't say I enjoyed the extra time on lanes at the Open over my free time at the Masters. I took it as a national. I went and talked to people. I hung out with people. I did all the stuff that I think those national events are designed to do. They're designed to introduce everybody to in the evening events and have fun with everybody. The bowling is almost, it's definitely not secondary, but it's almost equal to what you're there to hang out and socialize with the rest of the country. Right? It's obviously a bonus to come home with a medal, and there's always pressure. It's the pressure you put on yourself too.
More the pressure and the heat that I'm talking about is more in that match where if you are struggling, right, you have that extra little heat to kind of find your game in the immediate, or you are going to get pulled at an Open National, right? That's the type of heat I'm thinking about. Not necessarily, okay, you got to go, you better come back with a medal or you're going to get ridiculed and all that. So I kind of understand your point there, Timmy, because hell, we talk ourselves up more than anybody, right? As provinces that are out there, and we have very high expectations. I think more for maybe Western Canada with the tour events, and Alberta with the Open Provincials, which are literally 3 complete days of bowling. I think we're just geared towards literally playing all day in an event. Right. And so you get to a nationals and, Open Nationals, I think there's definitely more downtime. But I find there's almost too much downtime at a Masters Nationals. Yeah. Or it's almost too relaxed, right?
We tend to treat bowling as very much like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, that's exactly what I meant. So thank you for,
Yeah, like nationals, there is more downtime. I guess you could look at it like, it's more streamlined. It doesn't seem as hectic, even though sometimes transportation can be very hectic at a Masters Nationals. But it just seems like this is set. You're only bowling so much in this day, and then we got all this other stuff planned after. Maybe a Blue Jays game if you're in Hamilton, or something else this way, right? I definitely see your side of it, because the Open is definitely bowling forward, just because there's more teams out there and stuff like that. There's a lot more people there in your division, I guess, because obviously Masters has seniors and teaching and all that good stuff too. But I think we beat that like a dead horse. So what's in your guys' bowling bags? What's in your arsenal, Adam?
Well, I throw 4 7/8 and slightly more than 3/8 start lines.
Yeah, it was like 3 8.5.
At least I had mine weighed and all that stuff, right, Tim? So
not the tour finals. Spoiler alert.
They didn't ask.
You're the golden child. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
No, I think they weighed like 3 people's bowling balls.
Literally, yeah.
Mhm.
I do have a set of reactive U's. I don't know why I have them in the bag. I'll never bring them out. I think they're there as more like a safety net, just in case you need to change something. I think I've gone to the point where all of a sudden I'll start thinking about changing the ball, and then all of a sudden my game gets better. So I don't know. It's something a little bit weird there. I've always been throwing the same star lines. For shoes this year, I think I'm playing, what are they, ST6 bolas. Some real weird like gray and red color scheme.
Space shoes.
Yeah, because I ordered those through somebody and I didn't get what I wanted, so I kept them. Yeah, that's basically the main arsenal.
They've done you well.
So far. I had to end up throwing out my shoes at Open Nationals at the end of Open Nationals because those 3Gs were literally falling apart. Through the last day and a half with Bradley Tipcat's left slider, and that turned out okay as well. So I think I owe him a beer or two still.
You don't.
It's in the mail.
I have like an endless supply of bowling balls. But I'm kind of stuck to
What's in the bag?
Yeah, well, it changes every tournament. I'll bring different ones.
What are you taking to the Autumn Open?
Okay, so what I've been throwing most consistently lately is an old set of Cyclones. The purple ones, they're awesome. They're Jerry Budnick's old bowling balls. They're great. They're a urethane ball that has like a really good grip, and I just love them. 4 7/8 3/8 for those. I'll probably bring down a 4 7/8 3/8 Starline, and probably a 5-inch 3/8 Starline. And then I'll definitely probably bring. I ordered a set of Manhattans. I'll bring those down. They're a much more rubbery ball, but they don't move as much as the soft rolls. They don't grab the bands as much as the soft rolls, but I still seem to have the same grip as the soft rolls. So I'm going to bring those down. I think those are 4 7/8 3/9. And then I might bring down, I want a hard ball to bring down too, so it's going to be an Olympic, but I think I'm going to bring down my orange Comanche. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to bring.
How big's your bag?
That was 6 balls. Come on, man. It's on wheels.
I don't know. I heard like 4 sets, 5 sets of stuff going
okay,
down.
Randy Moss.
Individual balls. Come on.
Hey, you don't need 2 bowling balls, Adam. That's
you lost me after you said the first set.
Oh, you've been lost since the day you were born.
Also true.
Shoes are Storms. I can't even remember what they're actually called, but they're the equivalent of like an SST8. Storm is a sister company of Dexter, so all the same technology. I just like the color scheme better. So sort of white Storms. They've done me really good so far. I had the 3Gs forever. I loved the 3Gs, but the right foot is so slippery. So it was nice to flip over to these ones and have some like good traction for my push away. Although that whole thing ripped up last week, so I've got a new traction thing this week, so I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, that's what it's going to be next week.
Perfect.
And the week after.
So, Karie, you have my specs? Did you weigh all my bowling balls?
No, I threw it away.
Of course. Just way to be a bully. So I have a 4 7/8 3/7. Well, I think it's 4 7/8. I don't know, but 3/7 Olympics. My old blue and white ones I've been throwing since '97, and I also have a pair of hard rolls in my bag. So I have a yellow and a red one. They're 4 7/8 3/8. And I also carry a Starline, 4 7/8 3/8, and I carry a Manhattan as well. But I believe when we measured it, Karie, I think it's 5-inch 3/6. I think it's 5-inch 3/6.
What a weird combo.
Yeah, it's whatever.
And that That Manhattan is like extra grippy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been reworked. I got it from Damien McDonald. I did it, swap some stuff in the back of a car in a parking lot. So that's how I got those. And then I had my shoes broken several times. Is my SST tanks. I'm gonna look to replace those.
I don't think when they made those shoes, they were anticipating your body type.
Actually, I talked to Shelby. Shelby had the same set, and he's like, "Well, why haven't yours broken?" He said, "Well, I'm not a fat ass." So, so I actually carried two of the same shoe because I got them replaced a couple times. So one's less broken than the other. So just in case a really broken one that's worn in, I have another one that's less broken I can use. So until I go over to my get my custom shoes in, I think. So that's in my bag.
Cool. So I'll be taking to Autumn Open. All my bowling balls that I'll be taking are all 5-inch, but different weights. So I think my soft rolls are 312s. My star lines are 3.9 to 3.8, and my Manhattans are 3.7. And I think that's all I'll be bringing: star lines, soft rolls, and the Manhattans. Because I found the Manhattans definitely don't move nearly as much as my soft rolls do, which I kind of expected they would, because I happened to throw Tim's Manhattan last year at a Masters, and that ball seemed like it moved a lot more. But these ones don't seem to move as much, but they're definitely grippy, and they come out of the hand good. So that'll be what I'm taking. And for shoes, I have a pair of custom shoes. They're just Airwalks with Dexter sliders on them. But I found, especially playing at Sherwood Park in League the last few weeks, that doesn't matter what brake I put on it, it's still not heavy enough. So I've actually gone back to my SST tanks. They are split, but I'm not a fat ass, so I don't know how that works. But
hey, you said Julie's making banana bread for you right now.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, so I'll probably be taking the SST tanks down to the Autumn Open, but I'll bring the custom shoes just in case. But yeah, so I may be in the market for new Dexter SSTs, because those custom shoes, as nice and as comfortable as they are, just, I don't know. I find the Dexter is just a lot more reliable when it comes to finding a slide or making a small adjustment and finding what I need. But
if you're looking for somebody to sell you some shoes, I'll sell you the different pair that works out just fine.
You can order like an SST8. We'll get you the SST6 boas. Straight up space shoes. On special for regular price.
Hey, at least I got here in a week. Then I didn't use them for like 3 months. So,
yeah.
So Adam, you had a question that you wanted to bring up, or a topic?
Well, I guess both the Western side of the world here as well as Eastern. We've got a couple big tournaments coming up over the next couple weeks, and not everybody has a whole ton of stuff in their bag. But I kind of wanted to open up the floor and just kind of get your thoughts on certain things that every competitive bowler should have in their bag going to any of these type of tour events. Obviously, everybody knows the balls, the shoes, all that type of stuff. Towels. But what are some of the other things that you guys swear by that you need to have, in your bowling bag, or extras just in case?
So I guess I'll go first. I'll replace Adam as the first one this time.
Wow, you're going out of order. Any banana bread's ready.
No, that beeping was not my beeping.
Oh.
So obviously a towel to wipe the bowling ball. Extra pair of socks, because if you're two shifting at a tournament, you should put on a new pair of socks. You stinky. And Adam has pointed out lately, I know it wasn't a rosin bag, but a puffball or a rosin bag probably wouldn't be a bad idea. in winter it's not such bad, but when you're going playing nationals, maybe it might be a good idea to get some extra grip. What else do I have in my bag? Oh, it's like a scuff pad to mark up my slider and my heel, because with the synthetic lanes and stuff like that, you get a bunch of crud on the bottom of your slider pretty quick. Blackens it and makes it extra slick pretty fast.
Or like a wire brush or,
Yeah.
or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. I have a wire brush in my bag. I think, and lots of KT tape for my shoulder, but I don't know if every bowler needs that or not.
I pretty much carry none of that stuff. But I might consider the rosin bag or the puffball bag here soon. Nail clippers. I think nail clippers are like a super important one. You start playing like 30 games in a weekend and you start ripping nails and stuff, and that does get to be a pain in the butt. So nail clippers are handy. I used to carry a rule book, but there's no point anymore because I know it inside and out. You're welcome.
Hey, Ernie's wondering if you have anything, Dexter.
Actually, I did have somebody like message in, but we'll wait for a different day for that. Coins. Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 specific coins because I don't carry a lot of change with me ever, but they're just like unique coins. But I use them for coin flips, certain things like that. But other than that, I think Advil. And I know, I did carry BioFreeze when I went to a couple of these tournaments, but none of it was actually for me. It was for Adam, so I didn't have to stretch him out.
I do have to add one more thing: liquid Band-Aid.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you had your turn. We're
Sorry,
going around the horn now.
I should have brought my bowling bag down so I could have looked through it.
Hey, let somebody else kind of take the okay.
Now Tim has nothing to say.
Whatever.
No, I have plenty. As always.
Okay, Tim, let's hear all your superstitious stuff.
No, in my bag, I have towels, obviously, that I never use, but I have them. I have plenty of socks, usually like 3 or 4 pairs, because I am super, super bad with that. I actually carry an extra pair of underwear, because if I get a little swasty, I can do a little change. That's something you guys maybe should have to look into, especially Adam, who bowls a lot. I have nail clippers in my bag. I have Icy Hot, like the roller Adam got me in. That's been phenomenal. I have New Skin in my bag. I have Advil. As you know, as soon as I turned 30, I started becoming more looking after my body. So I also have shoe covers. I have them. I think they're useless, but I still have them in my bag. I have a wire brush. I have chalk. I find chalk's really good as well. Just a little piece of chalk. And I have a copious amount of sliders and heels, enough to have for a distributor. So,
could you please give us the definition of copious?
Copious. No.
Yes. So I have every heel and slider known by a man in the bag. So that's what's in my bag.
All right, I got a couple unique ones here that I think are actually really important. Chalk as well, the puff ball, which is really good. Extra deodorant, especially in those really long. I also have it's like a body glide stick. It's like a Teflon type stick, which definitely helps in those long tournaments, especially with like the chafing around the armpits of some of the tour shirts that are out there. Wire brush is really important. Nail clippers. I don't know how many times I've had to actually clip during. A pair of scissors for if you have any for me anyways. I've got like the big sliders from Dexter that you can kind of cut down and do all that stuff. Extra shoelaces is really important. I've seen a couple people blow out their shoelaces at tournaments and have to go after somebody else to get those. Advil, Tylenol, contact solution or extra contacts for those who need them, or glass cleaners, something like that. One that I ended up using down in Lethbridge once. I can't remember who gave it to me, but I still have a golf ball in my bag. I had it was like a plantar fasciitis hit during one of my matches, and in between every single ball or every single frame, I'd go back and just roll it out just so I could actually get through that particular match, or like a lacrosse ball or something like that to roll out some of those things. And then lots of socks, maybe an extra shirt or something like that in some of those tour events as well.
I like how Adam complained how big Dexter's bag is, but I'm pretty sure Adam's is bigger. Just all the extra stuff he brings.
Yeah, he carries 2 less balls, but he carries a pharmacy with him.
Yeah, I've also got.
Still going.
I'd also recommend some sort of snacks or something.
Way to support the center
when you're in there. Yeah. Most centers don't actually have anything good for you.
As long as you don't bring Dr. Pepper or Red Bull in, we're okay.
No, that's just Regina, apparently. I'll never forget that look I got. Holy.
Oh, the life on tour. You never know what you're going to run into.
Next question.
They could have charged you for Kleenex, so you're fine. So we'll move on to one of the other questions. So this one's from Chelsea Ely. How little tournaments like an 8-game scratch/POA can feed big tournaments with bowlers and pull them through the ranks? How each one of you started into the tournaments? I guess it's multiple questions. So how do you feel about little POA and scratch tournaments? Do you feel that they feed the bigger tournaments, or how do you feel about them?
Honestly, I'm not sure how many of the POA side of the tournaments really feed into WCBT tour events, but I do see some of the satellite type events like TPC has, which offers up a POA side to their satellites to get in automatic entry into those main events, which I think is a wonderful idea, because most of the scratch guys are probably playing anyways. So now you're giving somebody else a fair shake at a satellite, a cheaper option. I know back in the day, the CBCs, TSNs had all their house rounds, which then had the opportunity to I think buy in directly as well. I think for TSNs, but having some of those little feeder type tournaments, I think there's plenty to be had out there if people really wanted to run them, and those tournaments have to feed the other tournaments for it to actually work. So
yeah, I think that's kind of a cool concept. If those 8-game scratch tournaments or POA tournaments did something like that, where maybe their top few qualifiers get an entry into one of these big events, or if they want to collaborate or something that reason. But a lot of the smaller tournaments around, especially central Alberta and northern Alberta, is that they're no-tap tournaments. They're not true scratch tournaments, right? So I don't know how much those tournaments really have any effect on the big tournaments. They run their own separate things. They're usually in smaller communities. Especially in Alberta, it takes an hour to get to one of these small centers from the bigger centers. I don't know if they actually feed into the bigger ones at all.
I think yes and no. I think depending on what demographic you're looking at, I think it's at least in Alberta, it's very cliquey when it not cliquey, but very people are very oriented the same way, right? So people who play Vermilion or Rocky or Bakerville will always travel together, it seems like. But there will also be feeding into maybe something like the interprovincials or the teaching masters. They're kind of all the same group. With the satellites, I find that it does help the 5 games, I think, especially that you get the casual bowlers like a Ben Angus or like a Edward Facey who's qualified with it before that maybe never played, and they end up partaking in it, right? I think the biggest thing is probably experience. That's if you're a brand new bowler or you're nervous about playing something, maybe go to one of these events, get the experience, feel comfortable in your own shoes, and I think it would be easier to maybe try the tour or the Open or the Masters or something else that you might not feel comfortable with, but you have some experience with it, right?
Agreed.
Dexter?
Um, I'm just gonna go into the I think pretty much you guys have nailed the first part of that question. I'll just get into the second part of the question there. How each of you started into tournaments. What was the one tournament that just ignited the passion and hooked you? We started. Well, we started playing cash tournaments when we were 15. Tim, how many years?
First year at TPC and
Yeah.
Collingwood.
How many years are we at now?
I think we're 14. I think we're 14 when we played.
Okay, so we were 14. Okay, so that
maybe 15.
Yeah, it was either 14 or 15. Either way, that's kind of what started the whole cash tournament side, I think. And it was this new tournament. I mean, honestly, I don't even remember hearing about the Rose Bowl because I was young, but the TPC was around, and we had just gotten into Wednesday match, and we started hearing about this tournament, so it was something new and exciting to get into. So we got into that with some help from sponsorship. We had one of our local bowlers who was also proprietor for a tanning salon, Paul Napcho. So he sponsored us, and we got to play in that. So that really started that whole side of our career. As for like the adult tournaments themselves, I mean, I really think Youth Challenge really probably played a big role in it. It was just so fun being on those sort of teams at provincials. And it was sort of based on what the Open would be. And I was fortunate enough that my first year out of YBC, I got to play in provincials, and then got to meet everybody. And as soon as you get to do that, as soon as you get to go down to provincials, meet everybody, get to party with some people, learn the atmosphere that's involved with it. It's hard to ignore it after, you know.
Yeah, I think honestly the cash tournament thing wasn't my cup of tea. I said before in previous podcasts, it wasn't for Dex dragging me out there. I thought, well, because he was doing, Mom made me do it, and it's kind of how we kind of worked on things on that. But you challenge. I think you challenge is big with us, getting us into these things. A little bit different in Edmonton. We actually didn't bowl our first year eligible because we didn't even know anything about it. I had no idea. Whether it's maybe my YBC coordinator or the 5-Pin Association at that time, nobody passing information across. Mom saw it because she worked at the bowling alley, and she said, "Just signed you up. You're going to bowl." No idea how anything worked or anything like that. And I think we're at Plaza playing, and I ended up doing half decent. And Mom's like, "Yeah, I think you made the mixed team." I was like, "Oh, okay." Had no idea what was going on. I just bowled, and then after that we got hooked. I got hooked from it, so that's how I kind of started that way. It wasn't even forceps. We won forceps nationals, and I think that got me hooked more than the U Challenge got me hooked more than forceps.
I guess for myself, it would be my first Open. I happened to qualify in the 9th spot, right? They took 9, yeah. And beat out Darby Crest, knocked him off the mixed team, and Shelby was on the men's team, and I know they weren't very happy that had happened because I was brand new to the scene, and but after that, Darby congratulated me, and all's in the past now. And it was Fort McMurray, I think, where provincials were at. Pretty neat to go up there. That center's long gone. They had duck pin, I do believe, upstairs, and 10 pin upstairs, soft belly duck pin. So pretty neat to make my first adult provincials and go play different bowling sports, and it was pretty cool. That's being introduced to those guys. Definitely, that's what ignited my fire to keep playing. keep trying to make those teams.
Were you men's team or mixed team?
Mixed.
Mixed. I would have played you then. I don't remember at all.
Our team was me, Mike Tweedy, Gary Barrett, Nancy Chervais, Andrea Levitt, and Kelly Hutchinson. Rob Hutchinson was our coach.
What year was that?
I don't know.
I think it was like 03.
Sure.
03.
All I know is that sounds right. Lethbridge is just a great town to go play
04.
the Open in.
I would 03. I think probably 03.
Yeah,
There's always some good memories to Lethbridge.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't remember which year, but yeah, we had a really good team, and unfortunately, Nancy, that's the first time ever she missed so many corner pins, and she notoriously leaves corner pins because she throws such a slow rolling ball, but yeah, she missed a lot of corners, and that's the first time I ever seen her do that, and she's never done it since, so it was an anomaly.
Yeah, I guess for like the competitive side of bowling, honestly I don't even think it was the event that I played in. The last week we had Bruce on, and I still remember scorekeeping for most of those guys as I was growing up. So I think that's kind of where the fire was there, and I think my first time trying to play the event, I want to say it was like 97. Would have been 17 type thing. I missed the cut. I think I was tied for third in the consolation, which won my money back. So I was super thrilled. But I had a chance to play against some of the guys I thought were the greats. And then I can't remember the next cut I missed at the Autumn. After just having that experience and being able to play, it kind of lit that fire. So yeah, that's probably the first real experience. It wasn't even me playing.
Yeah. So I'll probably ask one more question, and we'll probably wrap this podcast up. I know lots of people submitted questions. We'll definitely get to them hopefully in the next podcast, or maybe we'll do something special for Patreon. If you guys aren't patrons of our Patreon page, please look it up at patreon.com/5pinuniverse. But a special congrats goes out to Al Paquette through a perfect game yesterday.
Yeah.
Videos on
Way to
Facebook.
go, Al.
Yeah, it was awesome. The 11th one was a little thick in the left pocket, but the other two were bombs. Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah. So his question is, with the tournament season starting up, who are your picks for the Autumn Open? Who's your pick for Neb's Fun World Club Tour?
I'll go first. My pick would be Adam, because that's a safe pick, right? I know. And I do want to clarify, the shirt behind me, 2016, he did not make the 16 cut, so that's a cut he didn't make at the Autumn Open.
So you're welcome.
That was a year before your retirement. So I think Adam would be one. Honestly, I haven't really thought about it. So I think Adam, dark horse. Looking at the dark horse, I don't know. You know what? I think there's gonna be a point. I think one of the Gilardis win. I just have a feeling that they're pretty tough. So that being said, for out east, I honestly I follow a lot of things, and I think Mark Goulet. I think Mark is a really good player, and I think I took Karie's answer, and that's exactly why I wanted to go first. But I think Mark is a hell of a player. Yeah, that would be mine.
Well, I know I can't pick myself.
No.
For definitely hoping to play well, but I'm going to pick Ty for the Autumn. I think he's due, especially in that type of format when you can really start roll into the 15s. Get 5 or 6 really consistent games in a row and just fly. And then, for the East, there's a couple guys that are on everybody's radars all the time type thing. one guy I think's running a little hot these days is Cody Laycox. I'm going to pick Cody.
That's fair.
Solid.
I don't know.
It's just there's like 100 players you can pick. Just throw a dart and just.
Don't pick Lenny or don't pick Lonnie. That's all I would say.
Neither of them are there, so that's a good call.
I don't know who's all going. I'm gonna say I was gonna say Ty, but since you picked him, screw that guy. I'm gonna say Danny Bear.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going, but there or not, I'm gonna say Danny Bear.
Nice.
Why wouldn't you pick Sarah?
It's just kind of crummy attitude.
Danny's your favorite too, right? So
Danny is, yes. Out east, I'm gonna go with Robert McDougall because he can actually drink and bowl, and I think that's gonna play really well for him.
Can I change my pick for the autumn?
Of course you can.
No, sorry, it's not going to be Tim. No.
Yeah, there's so many good players. I'm gonna go with the first timer just because. Michael Wist. There's my pick.
he's bound to get one, yeah.
And for Club Tour.
Don't say it.
No, I'm definitely not gonna say Mitch Davies.
Good.
He is not my pick, even though he definitely has a really good shot, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't even thought of it.
See? Right?
Well,
It's just a fun
Tim
thing.
Stole
It's
my
just a fun
freaking
thing.
guess. Thanks, Tim.
Just got
Both of mine got picked.
Is
And then you...
Doug Brock is probably playing, isn't he?
Oh, don't worry, Doug. Your fourth pick.
There's my pick.
Yes, he is playing.
Perfect. There's my pick.
Actually, I have no idea.
We putting anything on the line on this?
Well, I might change my picks then.
Low man has to buy us around.
We do not support illegal gambling on this podcast.
No,
sir.
This is legal gambling.
In that case.
Sure.
All right. Lowest combined finish of our two players owes around to the podcast.
On it.
I like
I'm
that.
actually feeling real good right now.
Except you
Adam-
can't pick anybody on this podcast, so Tim, you have to change your Autumn Open pick.
Oh no, we already did it.
No.
It's already live.
No, that's fair.
Okay, not pick Ty.
You can't pick Ty.
Ty's
pick
already
Brad,
picked.
then.
You know, Adam already changed it.
No.
Well, I ain't picking you. So Ty's still my number one. I'll take Brad number two.
Okay, I'll take Adam.
What happened
Goes
here?
against the whole thing.
What is going on?
No, I still got Ty.
I still got Adam.
You gotta pick your original picks. That's fine. Whatever. That's fine.
Wow.
I'll just
Around the
drive
horn.
Adam off the road.
Well, no, I might tank just to win a bet. Like, you know this, right?
Adam, you need to play because you're not playing TPC. So
Also true.
Okay,
Also true.
So Adam, last two games, if your 400 sticks out, I better see a couple fouls going on because bets are on the line, or beers are on the line.
Well, hey, one is one. It doesn't matter how that works, right?
Well, awesome, guys.
No.
Thanks for answering all these questions. Obviously, there was a lot more questions, everybody. We will try and get to them. Like I said, maybe we'll do a Patreon thing. I don't believe we're going to have a podcast next week. It might be live at the Autumn Open. We might do a Facebook thing there. If not, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Or you'll hear us in a couple weeks, I guess I should say.
No, they should see us. Pay to see us, people.
That's right. If you want to watch a video of these silly podcasts and you want to see our ugly faces, patreon.com/5pinuniverse. Put a couple bucks in and you get to watch all the ones that we've recorded anyways.
Put in copious amounts of money.
Corpius. All right, thanks, guys.
And
Thank you.
Keep watching, liking, sharing all those tour videos too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, we just released the 8th episode. I think the WCBT just came out.
Yeah.
So there's 3 more. Oh man,
Yes.
my math is bad. 3
4.
more.
No, it is 3.
No, it's 3. Yeah, it's 3. There's 11 matches.
3 more.
Wednesday, Monday, or Friday, Monday, Wednesday.
Friday, Monday, Wednesday. Yeah. So stay tuned, people.